For Hill, when he comes up here, I'm going to give him a big round of applause. He's got to say a few words. But I'll say before we get started, thank you so much for coming for a Monday night, 6 o'clock meeting. It's not easy to get parents to come to these because you got so many other things to do. And that means the world. And basically, you're already living the show up message by showing up for your kids. And that's not it, you know, it's a priority, it's the number one thing. However, a lot of things kind of sometimes get in our way of taking time for ourselves to do some learning and some growth. So, and that means the world to me. If you brought a child and they're with you right now, if you wouldn't mind, just look at them if you want to with a smile and just give them a hug. Say thanks for being my kid. If you wouldn't mind, say thanks for being my kid. That's half the battle. All right. All right. Don't let mom get away with not giving you hugs. Say, Mom, I don't, just cut it out. It's time to be huggy. Be a huggy person. All right. So, that being said, how about a round of applause? Mr. Hill, everybody. The man, the myth, the legend.
Hey, thank you. Again, thank you for showing up and being here for us and the kids and everything. First, I'd like to ask Mr. Dusty Stone to come up, lead us in prayer, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Can I do something first, Mr. Hill?
Yes, yes.
Miss Bassir, are you in here?
Where's Cindy?
Is she out there? Okay, we'll talk to Miss Bassir here in a little bit. All right, if you want to bow your heads. Oh, there's Miss Bassir. Miss Bassir, can you come up here?
Yeah, sure.
How about a round of applause? Mr. Sear, one of the best ever high school principals ever meet.
It is Miss Bassir's birthday.
Oh, man, I didn't even know.
She is excited. 35?
39?
39.
39.
So I would like
Not
to
a day old.
happy birthday to Miss Bassir. So if everybody would join in.
Let's do it.
Happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Steve. Happy birthday to you.
Woo!
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right, if you'd bow your head with me. Lord, we come to you. Thank you for this day. Thank you for each family that's represented in this place. Thank you for their willingness to just serve and want to learn. And we just invite your spirit here tonight. We just ask that you join us, ask that you speak through Mr. Bostick and just teach us something new. Lord, I just ask that the right words fall in the right hearts. And I just pray peace over everyone and that everyone has a safe trip home. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Stone. Hey, we're going to, if you'll stand for the pledge. We have two students. Sabrina Sayas will say the pledge in English.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and all.
Thank you, Sabrina. Stephanie?
Juro letrar a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de la América y a la república que representa una nación bajo Dios indivisible con libertad y justicia para todos.
Thank you. Hey, you may be seated. Hey, we're very blessed to have Aric here tonight. Before we do, this is a parent engagement night. And so this is also a Title I meeting. And so there's just a few things, you know, the fortunate thing for you guys, you got me for about 3 minutes and then you got Aric for the rest of the time. But, so we just have to go over a few things. We're a Title I school. So Title I school, it's basically provides supplemental funding to state and local education agencies, which is Muleshoe.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Did not know that sounded bad.
This funding helps bring resources in to help the schools that have high concentrations of students from low-income families. It also provides high-quality education that will enable all students, all children, to meet the state's student performance standards. Title I, Part A, supports programs that must use effective methods and instructional strategies that are grounded in scientifically based theory. Students also take part in the state assessment yearly to measure student progress, and that's the STAR test. Also, Title II is for teacher training and recruiting, and with Title II, or a Title II fund, we get funds to help us with teacher recruitment, also with principal training, and so this provides supplemental funding to improve student achievement. The funds are used to elevate teacher and principal quality through recruitment, hiring, and retention strategies, and increase the number of highly qualified teachers in the classroom and highly qualified principals and assistant principals in schools. The program uses scientifically based professional development interventions and hold districts and schools accountable for improvements in student academic performance. Title I, Part C, it's our migrant program. We're a migrant school. The purpose of the migrant program is to design and support programs that help migrant students overcome the challenges of mobility, culture and language barriers, social isolation, and other difficulties associated with the migratory lifestyle. These efforts are aimed at helping migrant students succeed in school and successfully transition to post-secondary education or employment. Also with Title III, it's the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. It aims to ensure that English language learners, ELLs, and immigrant students attain English language proficiency and meet the same challenging state academic content and student academic achievement standards as all children are expected to meet. So this is a parent involvement, parent engagement, family engagement night. These are some of the things as parents that you can be involved in. One, we have a parent compact where each school provides information at the parent-teacher conference, which we had on October the 9th. Here's some ways parents can be involved: participate in fundraising events, and also any other annual event, attend open houses, assist with extracurricular activities, and then also become a class parent. These are things that you have the right to know. Level of achievement of your child on state academic assessments. You have the right to know at parent-teacher conferences where your child stands in the class. STAR scores, they're also available on a website, the Texas Assessment Data Portal. You have the right to request and receive information about the qualifications of your child's teachers. Then there's a certificate lookup. Now to get to the best part. Aric Bostick, we've had Aric for the last couple years. You guys got to experience him here for just a short period of time, but he's been for the past 23 years. He's been to over 500 school districts and conferences, over 500,000 students he's reached, and it's on educational, basically leadership, but Aric goes a little bit deeper, and he's got this modern attachment theory that he is really focused on. So it's attachment theory. He's going to talk to you a little bit about it, and also relational neuroscience. And basically it's, hey, parents and adults are key to kids' lives. So let me first tell you, Aric, he's full of energy. So let me introduce you to Aric Bostick.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ward. It's a real privilege to get to be here. And I'll say that again, get to be here. You don't have to be here, you get to be here. Who here is glad to be a parent? You chose to be a parent, you're glad to still be a parent. Who's ever had a day where you think, what was I thinking having kids? This is so much harder than I thought. And just by poll, did anyone here, when you had your first child, did anyone here get an owner's manual at the hospital? Did anybody get an owner's manual? Okay, because you know what, it turns out we don't get an owner's manual on how to learn how to be great parents. What usually we have to do is just basically, we end up accidentally sometimes, or because we had great parents, we do exactly what was the software that was done for us. We do what we were taught. However, I don't know how your childhood was, but mine wasn't perfect, and I certainly didn't want to replicate some of the things that happened to me. Who here would like to improve on the parenting that you received? If you'd like to, say, oh yeah. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean our parents were bad. Sometimes they just didn't know. And there are a lot of parents that didn't know. Me, myself, I have an amazing life partner. Been with her. Her daughter was 3 when we met. She's 16 now. And I've made all the mistakes. Anybody here also have made mistakes with your child? If you have, say, oh yeah. Who here has ever said to yourself, I would never say that to my kid? You think about something your mom or dad said to you, and you go, you know, you were 2 years, 5 years, 6 months into being a parent, and you caught yourself doing some of the same things you said you would never do. You've been there, give me an oh yeah. Okay, so today, my goal is to give you 3 things. 3 things, parents. Your goal, number 1, is to get a better understanding of basically how the science of relationships, or what we know as attachment, actually works. Because basically, that's how we wire our children. You are the software programmers for these beautiful little computers in front of you. As you treat them, so they will be. And sometimes we say, oh, I got 3 kids, one good one and one other one and the other one. And just because the one does what you want them to do doesn't mean they're the good one. They might just be trying to make you happy. Every single kid is different. Who here has more than one child and you've noticed they're all a little different? And you go, oh, that's just like my husband. That's just like my wife, and you blame it on them. But I will say, at the end of the day, the hardest thing to remember is that you are the programmer. They are basically a parrot of you. So I'm going to help you understand how we wire our children, how maybe a better understanding of how you got wired yourself, and then the best part is some tools in your toolbox so that you can create an even better relationship with your child now. Who here, even look at your child if you'd like to, as I ask you this, who would like an even better and more fun and enjoyable relationship with your child? If you would, say, oh yeah. Okay, and so the kids in the room, I'm so glad you're here, because I always do this just with the kids here. You get to be a part of this speech too. If I'm saying something that kind of resonates, you can go, Mom, you listening? Okay, Dad, are you hearing this? And I want you to know that students, okay, it's not your job to make Mom and Dad happy. But you also can do your part to help improve the relationship. But at the end of the day, it's our job to lead you. Your kids aren't there to meet your needs. The job is to meet theirs. But we're not always modeled that. And so sometimes we accidentally start looking for our kids to meet our needs. So you're going to get 3 things. Hey, how does this whole relationship business work? How do we get wired? Number 2, how can I maybe better understand myself so I don't make some of the same mistakes, but also what am I doing right? And I hope you leave here thinking about a lot of things you're doing right. And then the 3rd thing is some tools in your toolbox, how would I call it, be an awesome parent. Some steps you can do each day to start building what we call secure attachment, meaning I feel safe with my parent. I feel like they get me, and when I have a need, they come and run it. And the benefits from having secure attachment are exponential. I want you to do me a favor and just look around the room at all these empty seats. Just real quick, just look at all these empty seats. I want you to learn this today for all the parents that are not here. Because who here would agree with me, there are probably a lot of parents in Muleshoe, Texas, who could stand to learn a little bit about parenting. However, we know that the parents that come to these things are already usually doing it right. But who here has some of your kids' friends come to your house and you notice there's an opportunity to you to love on and parent them in a way that might help them have a need met that maybe they wouldn't otherwise get met? There's an old saying, as you know, this is, it takes a village. I hope that today, whatever you take back, you will use with all children, with all human beings. We all need compassion. And what qualifies me to teach you this today? I was a kid once. Anybody here a kid once? Anybody here remember being a child? Anybody born as an adult walking out with a briefcase? No, you weren't. You have stuff too. And so I immersed myself into personal development for my whole life because I come from not the best parents. And it's a sad fact. I'm a child of an 8th grade dropout, alcoholic, an emotionally disturbed mother. There's a test called the Adverse Child Experience Test. It's called ACEs. If you experience an adverse child experience, there's 10 of them. If you experience one, there are some consequences to that, but most people can overcome them. There's then 2, then 3, then 4. If you get up to 4, there are starting to get repercussions that can last a lifetime. I score a 6. So at 6, if without recovery, compared to someone with 0 adverse child experiences, my lifespan is 20 years shorter. 7 times more likely to ingest drugs, 13 times more likely to contemplate or even attempt suicide. But for the grace of a counselor, a teacher, a couple of coaches, I stand before you as a first-generation college student who became a high school teacher and coach, and someone who's been in therapy since he was 13 years old on a path to try to overcome the very needs that never got met. And so I'm what they call earn secure. I've had to earn my security, not from my parents, but through the relationships of other healthy adults. That's why my passion for talking to teachers is, if you can't control, we can't always change the parents, but we can be that teacher that can make up the deficit that maybe we don't get that need met. But for all these amazing parents who showed up, and here's the part that we don't realize, showing up also means exactly what you're now. Physically showing up, being there matters. Attachment means proximity, that I can get close to you, and that when I have a need, you come running. So you already did a great job just by showing up. So kids, do me a favor, look at your mom or your dad that came and say, thanks for showing up. Give them a high five, thanks for showing up. You did it, appreciate what you're doing for me. That's very good. Everybody give me 2 claps. 2 claps, 1 clap, 2 claps, 4 claps, 2 more, 1, half. That's why I'm here, about focusing. And today, I got the privilege of working with your 3rd through 5th graders, about 40 of them, your 6th through 8th graders, about 50 or 60 of them, and then about 64 high school kids. And we went on this stage and we built relationships. We taught social skills, we taught confidence, and they were amazing. And I even redirected them and gave them some constructive feedback. I want to say this up front. Everything I teach you here doesn't mean you let your kid get away with everything. You tell them only what they want to hear. No, it still is about having boundaries and construction and feedback and letting them know what they need to be able to act right in the world. But it's the way you do it. It's how you approach it that makes all the difference. So let's get started. Why showing up and why now? Well, the Surgeon General says that we have a youth mental health crisis. The only thing I don't like about this quote is the word youth. We have a mental health crisis. Anybody know a few adults in this world that got a little mental health issue going on? And guess what? They just download to the kid. It's not the kids that have the problem. It's the parents, and they download the kid, and they come to school, and we say, boy, these kids are a mess. Well, those issues come from home. There's a recent school shooting in Appalachia. This kid had already threatened to shoot up the last school. When they researched the parents, for the first time in history, they're starting to say, maybe, because this kid was getting abused every day at home, there was a big rupture, mom was about, she was being abused, maybe he was the only one responsible. But we live in a world that sometimes says, boy, this kid's pure evil. Where do you think he came from? A lifetime of abuse doesn't make for a happy child. Happy parent, happy child. That's the way it works. But we have to work at it. You investing time today is showing you're willing to do the work. If you have a good marriage, it's usually because you're working at it. If you want a great relationship with your kid, it takes work. And even with great work, it's still going to be hard. So I want to say up front, this message sometimes is hard to hear as a parent because you may be thinking about what you didn't get growing up, or worse, you start thinking about mistakes you're making right now unconsciously. So do me a favor, no self-beating up. You don't know what you don't know. And you all, like me, will make mistakes. You will get it wrong with your child. But the best part about attachment is when you repair, when you make amends, it actually makes the bond stronger. And so we'll talk about that too. So who'd be willing to, for the next 30 minutes, cut yourself some slack? You're with me? Say, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is not a competition. We all do our best. Even your parents are the best what they did for you. But there's always consequences to our behavior. So, why is this happening? Increased screen time. Who here has seen some of our kids addicted to the screens? That does not help mental health. Number 2, social media pressure, shortage of access to mental health professionals, especially in rural areas, family instability, general trauma, generational trauma, social isolation. This is one of the loneliest generations in history because of social media. External events like school, shootings, war, and political instability. Who here knows adults struggling with the same issue? Anybody know a few adults can't get off the phone? Can't stop looking at the screen? That's where it all begins, and you are the model. So, now more than ever, we need a sense of security and a sense of safety. And safety is not just about school safety, meaning we make sure there's no guns. It's a feeling of safety, meaning when I come to school, people care that I'm there. And I'm emotionally safe to be myself. I heard a funny story today after our training today. I told the kids on stage when we did on the team building, hey, I want you to be yourself. Get excited, get loud, get crazy. Just really let yourself be enthusiastic. And one of the school staff members over there, I guess this kid told the staff member, hey, this guy told us to be ourselves and we were just wild and crazy. She was worried that we just came over here and acted like crazy people. But what we did instead was I tried to get them back to being kids who were enthusiastic, but it was controlled enthusiasm. And we moved to the next spot. Who here would like your kid more excited about life? But that starts with us. And that will create a sense of security if they can be themselves. And when you can be yourself, then everything around them feels like, wow, I can be myself. I'm safe to have a voice. I can say what I don't like and what I do like. And I know that I'm going to be okay no matter what. But if you're scared to speak up, you're not safe and you're not secure. If you don't feel felt that you can share your feelings, then how am I going to know how to tell you when something's really wrong? And if I think you might overreact, well then we definitely don't have a relationship that I can trust. And know this, a kid can have a secure relationship with one parent and an insecure relationship with another, right in the same household. You can go to a school where a kid has a good relationship with 3 or 4 teachers, but not one teacher, and they struggle in that class. Who's seen that before? It's always about the relationship. So, those who are nurtured best survive best. But we've grown up in a culture in the West here, pull yourself by your bootstraps, be tough, take no prisoners, be strong. All that actually makes a kid who can't feel their feelings, and it carries on into their adulthood, and they don't know how to share when they have an issue. So actually loving your kid, showing care, being nurturing, actually makes them feel better about themselves and actually more resilient down the road. If you want resilience, you want this thing called grit, it's actually from getting your needs met when you're younger, not by having to suck it up and do it on your own. Kids who have to suck it up and do it on their own, they actually live in constant fear because their children having to take care of themselves. Your job is to make sure they know that you got them. And then when they're older, they actually do the same behavior that was mimicked. I know how to take care of myself. My mom and dad showed me how. If that makes any sense whatsoever, give me an oh yeah. Oh, yeah. So what the science says is you can only model a experience that you've had. You only know how to be compassionate if someone's been compassionate for you. You know how to be loving, empathetic if somebody's done that for you. You only know how to give mercy if you've received it. You only know how to give love and compassion if you've received it. And sometimes we're merciless on our kid because we want them to be perfect. We're scared if they don't, they won't be able to survive in the world. Instead, we need to be as comforting as possible. And here's why this is so hard as a parent. Because you may not have been treated that way, so you have no point of reference. I had to learn how to be empathetic because no one had actually taught me how to do it. So this learning attachment saved my life, saved my relationship with the young lady who who I care most for. And today we have a healthy relationship, not a perfect one. Who's willing to have a healthy one, not a perfect one? If you're with me, say, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, the research shows, there's a book called The Power of Showing Up. I'm going to give you a link to all these books that I'm going to reference today. Nothing I share today is opinion. Everything will be referenced. Who here remembers the old TV show Dragnet? And Jack Friday would say, just the facts, ma'am. I'm going to share with you the facts. Then you can go and read the books or listen to them on Audible and then practice this in real time. And today I'm going to give you a chance to do that even with your kid today. So what he says is one of the very best predictors for how a child turns out is, in terms of happiness, social, emotional development, leadership skills, meaningful relationships, and even academic success, is whether we got security from having at least just one person, mom, dad, teacher, friend, uncle, pastor, mentor, say, I've got you, I believe in you. Who knows someone where their parents weren't there for them, but they had another adult that was, and you saw that kid still thrive? If you've already seen this experience, give me an oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we want it to be mom and dad. That works best. But if not, you got this amazing Muleshoe staff who I know is working hard to do the same thing. But if you get it from mom or dad, guess what? They'll be able to do it for their kids. So let's talk about how we do it. We can be that one. How do we show for children? Well, we understand it through their science of attachment, which gives us a roadmap. This is one of the most cited psychological theories. 70 years it's been around, but we're just now barely talking about it in education. I'm one of a few people trying to pioneer it over here in the West. But I believe if you're in the relationship business or in the parenting, you're trying to be a good parent and you don't understand attachment, it's like performing surgery and you never took anatomy physiology. You're trying to wire your kid to be successful in life and be resilient, but they gave you no owner's manual. Attachment is the owner's manual. This is how to help your kid feel safe, seen, and supported. So, again, if you start to make this new language kind of the way you view the world, you'll be able to have a much more roadmap of understanding why your kid behaves the way they do when they do, and then better meet their needs to improve the relationship. That sounds like a good deal to you. Give me an oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, what is attachment? If you guys see that little baby over there, and you see the old person over here, the elderly person here, you have an attachment system from the cradle, from the minute you're in their womb, but when you are born, all the way to the grave. That means you have a system that needs relationships forever. Who here has older parents that you're now trying to love and care for? Who's ever seen them behave like a child when they don't get what they want? Because their same attachment system is saying, hey, I have a need and you're not meeting my need. Tantrum. Because they feel scared they're not going to get their need met, because at this point in life, they can't meet it for themselves. Children can't meet their needs for themselves. That is your job. And that's hard to swallow sometimes when someone didn't do that for us. So what it is attachment is the quality, science of the quality, is this a good relationship or a bad relationship, and the development over across the life course. It never ends. You don't graduate from relationships. Who here got out of your parents' home and you thought, okay, now my life can begin? And you got out there and go, oh my gosh, I really don't know what I'm doing. And I want my mommy. Who here has children in their 20s and 30s that still call you and say, Mom, can we talk? They're wired to do that. That's what they're supposed to do. I hate to give this example, but when George Floyd was going through his tragic experience, he started calling for who? His mom. There's other reports of other people in duress being violated by authority, and they start saying, Mom. It comes from, it's 200 million years of biology to seek your caregiver in a time of need. So here's how it works, guys. Attachment 101. Attachment really is the science of love. So this is my favorite 4 pictures, because it's basically mammals taking care of their young. We've been doing it for 200 million years since we started suckling our young. So I like to be able to kind of, this is love in action. So would you guys mind joining with me with a collective, aww, ready, 1, 2, 3, go. Aww, that's so sweet. It's love is what it looks like. And so when we feel anxious, in danger, or in need, We're wired biologically to have this amygdala start blowing smoke signals of fight, flight, or freeze, sometimes even faint. We start to seek our caregiver, mommy, 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 daddy, daddy, daddy. And then, if you get in proximity of your caregiver, you get a hold of mom or dad, or grandma, grandpa, or uncle, and they go ahead and give you the comfort and care you need, then all of a sudden that amygdala stops blowing smoke signals, and it crawls up into their upstairs brain, and it deactivates, and your kid gets online. Who here has ever had your child come to you when they're scared at night? And who here annoyed you, said, there's nothing out there? But in their mind, there is. Now, if you go, there's nothing out there, get out of here, go to bed. Do you think they go, man, my mom loves me. I'm going to be okay, thanks, Mom. What they needed for you to say, oh, mijo, I'm so sorry, come here, I know you're scared, I heard that sound too. Are you going to be okay? If not, you can lay right here until you're ready. Eric, we don't let our kids sleep with us, we're bigger than that. Well, you got it wrong. The books say to let them stay and get comforted. Crying to sleep will set a person up for the rest of their life to be anxious and needy when they don't get their need met. You meet it now, they'll know how to do it for themselves later. So the goal is be available when your kid has a need. And when we do that, we can actually create what's called a secure-based safe haven relationship. And this is not Aric Bostick talking. This is just raising a secure child. One of the top parenting books in the world, The Circle of Security, who helps foster parents around the world and adoptive parents. And there is a roadmap. And what all children need, and this is actually science. This is all science. This is stuff, just a crazy idea. This is years and years of research that what a person needs, both little humans and even adults later on, because who here's got some needy husbands that need you to love and care for them in their time of need, okay? They tell them, baby, can you just give me a call back, right? And you call, what's it? You go, well, I'm just kind of tired, lonely, it's been a while, and it's been a long day, and I got a 2-hour drive home. Hey, I'll be here, and I've got some leftovers, and you love on them. Thanks, babe. Who here's anything that's happened in your adult relationships? We need someone to say, I got you. So what we need is what's called a secure base that says, hey, you can make it from here. I believe in you. And if you look at that little girl, she's saying what? I need you to support my exploration. Check out what I'm doing. I need you to watch over me, delight in my presence. Wow, what you're doing is so neat. Wow, that's really cool. And then guess what? I'm going to sometimes forget that I'm okay, and I'm going to run back to you and say, can you please welcome me back? Because I'm going to need some comfort to protect me, to delight me, to organize my feelings. You're sad, let's understand why you're sad. You're angry, let's understand why you're angry. You're excited, let's understand why you're excited. And I'm going to help you learn how to manage those emotions. And guess what you're going to do? You go, thanks, Mom, thanks, Dad. I'm going back out again. Who here has ever remembered, who here can remember a time you took your child to the park from one of the first times in their life? Who can remember that? Who can remember them kind of stuck to your leg? And you're, come on, you can go play. And they want to play, but they're slugged. And finally, you get them off you. And they start to go out there, and they look back at you every 5 seconds. They're heading to the playground. And they finally get a little further. And if you will stay off your phone and stay present, you're doing great. I see you. And you keep going, and you got this. And they go a little further. And they start to play and have fun and keep looking back at you. And if you keep watching, they go further and further, and then they fall down. And what do kids do when they fall down? They look at you to see what? Am I okay? Am I hurt? Who's had your kids ask you, am I hurt? And you have to, I don't know, I think, how do you feel? You doing okay? And you give a little comfort, and you're right there. And they go, I think you're okay. And then they go back out and play again. They come, they circle back, but maybe there's another kid comes up they don't know, and they're a little bit scared. Mommy, who's this stranger? You maybe have to walk up and say, hey, this is my daughter Sarah. What's your name? And Billy, nice to meet you. And and you watch them. I'll just be right here watching. And you back up. And they start to play, and they learn it's okay. I can explore because Mom or Dad's got my back. It's what all humans need to feel safe, to not feel alone, to not be on their own. Why do I know this? I was a latchkey kid. That means I came home to an empty home. From 6 to 10, my babysitters were Jefferson's, Good Times, What's Happening. Who remembers those old TV shows? Sanford and Son. At night, my babysitters were Dynasty. Dukes of Hazzard in Dallas, enriching material. And I had to go outside and play. And my mom, she could barely read and write, so nobody read to me, nobody tucked me in, nobody said good morning with delight. And so I was that kid at your school who couldn't stop talking in class. I got N's on my report card for needs improvement and U's for unsatisfactory because I couldn't sit still and couldn't stop talking. And nobody said, I wonder what's going on with Aric. Why does he talk so much? Oh, nobody talks to him at home. So maybe we should double down on the attention here at school. Maybe he'll become more secure, and maybe he'll learn to self-regulate. But again, nobody was steeped in this understanding of how this works. If you want your kid to be able to behave and self-regulate in school, give them as much time and attention at home, because they'll come without that need. It's already been met. So, what all kids have and all adults have is what's called an upstairs and downstairs brain. That means we have the lower brain, which is kind of fight, flight, or freeze. It kind of takes care of our basic emotions. Then we have the upper brain that says, hey, this is where I can think straight. If you want your kids to be well in school, they got to know they're safe at home. I don't have to worry, are we making ends meet? There's food on the table. I don't have to worry about if mom's going to hurt me or dad's going to say something mean. Hey, I'm safe. I'm going to use the rest of my brain because it's on fire now. It's healthy. It's ready to go. I want to learn more. And the more love and care you get, the more branches it actually makes. And this isn't just me talking. This is why love matters, how affection affects the baby's brain. You can see all those little tabs there. You know why this is there? Not just for me to learn about how the kids' brains work, so I can understand why mine hasn't sometimes. Did you know that Romanian babies in orphanage that weren't touched or held literally died from no touch and care? And those that did survive had holes in their brain, their orbitofrontal cortex, from just not getting love and attention? That literally love is more important than food and water? That they surveyed monkeys and they gave them the choice between a wired mom, just metal, that gave them food, or another pretend monkey with nothing but soft cloth on it, and they consistently chose the cloth without the food, where they got the feeling of comfort. Your kid needs your comfort, your care, your love. And if that's something that's not something you feel comfortable about, it's better to figure out why it's an issue for you and then do what maybe you didn't get. So this is what the downstairs brain looks like. Who's ever seen your kid in those faces? And you go, what is wrong with you? My mother's favorite words for me growing up was, what's wrong with you? She'd call my dad in earshot. What's wrong with him? Rather than coming to me and saying, Aric, how do you feel? Because what was happening is I couldn't act before I think. I couldn't control my reactions. I felt tired all the time, stressed out, I'd scream, yell, argue. And we say, what a bad kid. Rather than say, wait a minute, these are just signals of something deeper going on. They have a need that's not being met. Can only see a problem from their point of view. They can't see the solution because they're in their downstairs brain. They can't see straight. Feels like they cannot get anything done. Who sees your teenagers? I can't get anything done, Mom. They just sit there and stare at homework for hours. We've been begging them, clean their room. They can't do any of it. But they are sometimes locked in their downstairs brain. They're not just lazy. And why do I know this? Because we have a 16-year-old that just lives here. Why? She has a non-existent dad. She's got some scars from there. We do all we can to give her love and attention, but sometimes she gets locked into that place of, I can't see past my problem. And so then we can double down on the comfort and the care. Yelling at her doesn't make it happen any faster. Who's realized that yelling at your kid doesn't always get you the result you want? So we want to get them to the upstairs brain. This is the place we want them to live. We know they're capable of it. They can think before they act. They can control their body. They can focus. They can see others' point of view. They're not the center of the universe. You know who kids learn how to not to be the center of the universe? By making them the center of your universe. They get that need met, and they go, wow, I got my needs met, and all of a sudden they start giving that to other people. Loving kids come from loving parents. Can't think before they speak, feel they can't get the work done. They can get their work done. These kids are motivated, and they're not any better than these kids. They're not any better than these kids. They're just being treated different. And so we can get past that by doing this. If you want to memorize anything I say today, remember this, that your sensitivity Your responsiveness, how quickly you can get to that care and attention when they need it, will let them know, hey, you are secure with me. I've got you. I've got you. So if your kid's with you right now, let's take a moment, look over at them, smile at them, put your arm around them, and just say the words, I got you. You're safe with me. We're in this together. I'm not going anywhere. Try to look at them if you can. Look in their eyes, look in their face. They need to see you're with them. Okay? So, here's the things that the scientists found out. That there are repercussions to when we're not responsive. There's 4 attachment styles. They're secure, anxious, avoidant, and disorganized. Secure sounds like what it means. They're safe. They're going to be okay. There's 3 types of insecurity: anxious, avoidant, disorganized. They figured all this out through a great experiment called the strain situation, where they took a parent who's consistently treating their child for a year. They observed them, and they brought them into a lab. And what happened was this, is that when the parent would be sitting there, let the kid play with some toys, then the parent would gently leave the room, a stranger would walk in, and how the baby behaved when the parent returned, they were able to identify which of these they were. And I'll explain how that worked. So this is the first time we're using a visual. I want you to do your very best. If you get kind of triggered and upset because you've seen yourself behave that way, know that my partner, have all made the same things, okay? Who here has sometimes yelled at your kid? Who has sometimes said, I'm not taking that anymore, I'm just gonna ignore them for the day. Or you just had a moment where you just flipped out and that was your moment. Even the best of kids have us, that doesn't mean they're sentenced for life to have insecure attachment. It's about the consistency. You get to make mistakes. And if it makes you feel any better, Dr. Dan Siegel, the leading neuroscientist in the world, says that the best parents get it right 30% of the time. And that's all that's needed. He actually calls it, you just need good enough parenting. Can I get a collective, whew? You don't have to be perfect to be a good parent. So, everything's gonna be okay. When that mom or dad came back when the kid was crying, which is they're supposed to do, and the kid cried and then stopped crying, that demonstrated secure attachment. Meaning, I know when you come back, I'm gonna be okay. So you just love it. Hey, is everything gonna be okay? In your mind, of course you know everything's gonna be okay. There's no problems going on. There's no earthquakes. There's nothing happening. But they don't know that. Their little brains don't know that yet. So your experience for a child is, if you're sensitive and attuned like a radio means, hey, I'm trying to understand how you feel, and you're responsive to that, then they go, hey, there's plenty of love here. I'm gonna be supported. And then their assumption is, my parent is not perfect, but they're gonna be there when I need them. And more importantly, if I have a need, they're gonna see to it, respond. I can trust others to do the same. That's when those kids come to school, they say, oh, these adults, they know what they're doing around here. I'll trust them. I'll open up my mind and heart, and I'll listen. I'll follow direction. But if they haven't had an experience, they don't trust other adults. You are their first roadmap for how to get this done. So number 2 is anxious attachment. This is where it's kind of like the old poem, I love you not. Some days I'm into you, some days I'm not. Sometimes I respond, sometimes I don't. And that's what creates anxiety. So their experience is, sometimes my caregiver is really there for me, but sometimes they're intrusive. They want to get in the middle of my stuff and get their own needs met. Hey, you guys are playing, you're hanging out, and you're 5 12-year-olds at slumber party. You say, hey, what are you guys doing? I want to be involved too. And you guys are putting makeup on and get belly button rings. I want to get a belly button ring. Mom, you're 42, get a life. And what are you doing here? This is for the kids. But also, sometimes they say, you're amazing, and then, I don't think you're so amazing, and you're amazing, and I don't think you're so amazing. And so the kid doesn't know, what have I got to do to keep you to think I'm okay? So they have this unpredictable care, so their assumption is, I can't ever let my guard down. I can't trust other people to do the same thing. Nobody's predictable, so I have trouble calming my emotions. These anxious attachment young people will forever be seeking the love and approval of others to be okay. How do I know? Because that's me. This is the recipe for being a dang good motivational speaker. What can I say or do to keep you watching and listening? I'll just keep dancing. Now, over time, I've learned to, hey, it's okay if you don't all approve of me. Not everybody's going to like it, but I do my best. So, avoiding, this is the one that is so challenging because we think these are good kids that are just quiet. But a caregiver that's often neglectful, rejecting, and dismissive of a child's thoughts and emotions, meaning, keep you in that distance. Those kids' assumption are, my parents are around a lot, but they don't know how I feel. I will learn how to ignore my own emotions and avoid communicating my needs. The saddest part is this is the kind of parent who says, you're crying? I'll give you something to cry about. And the sad part is sometimes people chuckle at that, but there's not a worse thing. When a kid has a need, are you okay? What can I do to help you? So keeping your kid at a distance makes them go, well, what's wrong with me that she won't get close? Well, maybe something's wrong with me, so I'll just keep it to myself. And when they did the experiment, the secure kids would cry, and the parents would console them, they'd stop crying. The anxious kid would just keep crying because they think you're going to leave, they stop crying. And the avoidant kid wouldn't cry at all. Not when you left, and not when you came back. You say, oh, well, good kid. They actually would hook those babies up and check their heart rate, and also check the perspiration also on their body and in their diapers. And they perspired and had the same fast heart rate as the kid that was crying uncontrollably. They were just keeping it down. When your kid's quiet, like everything's okay, doesn't always mean they're okay. Who here has seen quiet kids who had more going on than what they were saying? We've got to create safe spaces for them to say, you can talk to me, you're safe here. And if you do that over and over again, your kid will trust you, they'll come closer, and they'll be able to share their needs with you. If you don't want your kid talking about their problems, who do you want them talking to? Their friends? Their middle school friends? Their high school friends? Some weirdo that you don't know about? Or do you want them to be able to say, Mom, I have a problem. This kid at school, this bully at school, or this person at school, or this boyfriend I have. Who wants them to tell you the tough stuff so that you can be there for them? They will only do that if you have a close relationship. So the last one, this is what we really hope no kid has to go through, but sadly many do. If you have unpredictable care that's really frightening, abuse, either physically or emotionally, these kids, they get hypervigilant, they're scared, and so their assumption is, my parent is terrifying, they're disorienting, when they're around, I don't know what to do with myself, I'm not safe, there's no one's going to keep me safe, and worse, they feel powerless, they feel helpless. People are not trustworthy, they're scared of them. These are the kids that come to school with the head down, the hoodie, don't get near me, and at the least thing, they can blow up. Disorganized attachment is real, about 6% of the population. You're not born with it, it is cultivated. And if you read the stories in this book of some of the kids that abused the worst, it'll just break your heart. But what's great is, babies, younger kids, their brains are so malleable. If you want your relationship to improve, it just takes some intentional effort on your part to build that rapport where they'll trust you and come closer. So it turns out nearly 60% of the population is secure. That's the good news, but that means 40% are insecure. And since COVID, they're now saying it's 50-50, means half the population is got insecure attachment, meaning they don't feel like they're secure in the world and not resilient enough to be able to do it for themselves. So it's so imperative that we try to be the best parents we can be so we have more secure people in the world. And while I'm trying to help so many teachers understand this so they can maybe make up a deficit for kids that aren't getting this. And for those of you parents that have kids that come from homes that don't get the same amount of love, do your best to be a contrast to what they're not getting at home so that they are lovable. Who here has a kid from another home that said to you, can I call you mom? Can I call you dad? Because they feel close to you. We're wired to want someone to love us in a way where they delight in our presence, that we're lovable, unconditional. So what's created from this, and you'll notice these glasses on the here, is this scientific term is called an internal work model. The way you treat your child creates a blueprint in their brain, their neural pathways throughout your brain, and the way you treat them creates one for security or insecurity. How you treat them actually becomes how the lens to which they see the world. I'll never forget calling a kid's parent because the kid kept cursing in class, and the parent answered the phone, with 3 curse words, I knew exactly what the problem was. I can tell you story after story of other superintendents and principals I've talked to. When they call that parent of that kid who's really challenging in class, they know within seconds exactly where the problem lies. We can be the problem and we can be the solution. These glasses, if you have a loving, caring, attuned parent, you see the world clearly, man. Life is pretty good, not perfect, but I can make it great. If you got a super positive parent, kind of one who's happy all the time, some of these kids just like, man, no matter what, I'm feeling great. This is the kind of kid who breaks his arm and says, oh, you got a broken arm? No, it's going to be fun. We'll have a cast. You can sign it. I mean, they're that kind of, but they learned it from someone else. But some parents, some kids, man, they have that red line. Man, the world is scary. I don't know how I'm going to make it. Some, the world is a dark place. No one can be trusted. You are responsible for how you help your kids see the world. Their lens is your lens. And that's the way it works. With all the work I've done, I still have to battle the demons of my mom's negative perspective. I'm still rewiring. That's what comes up in my default position. But then Aric takes over and I say, but I think this way, because I've got other great role models in my life. So, based on how you treat your kid, how you show for them, will be their lens for the world. So here's the benefits of secure attachment. I'm going to stop talking for 30 seconds. I want you to read these benefits if your child feels safe and loved and super cared for by you. It's a lot of words. But we felt it was too important not to show you these bullets. That this is what you're setting your kid a life for, kind of life up for. That if you love on them, they will experience these qualities. So how do we become secure? This book right now, Amazon.com, $11.76. I've bought over 100 copies that I've shared with superintendents and principals and teachers from all over the country. I challenge you, buy it tonight or get it on Audible so you can listen to it while driving. 30 years of research in one simple book to create what's called a secure child. And you don't have to do it perfect. It's not just being predictable. You want to do the 4 S's. You want to help them feel safe, meaning you're sheltered from harm. I don't put you in a difficult spot. And emotionally, I'm going to be consistent. I'm not going to be flying off the handle. Number 2, I see you. I get you. Who here has one friend who really gets you? If you do, say, oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Who's got a friend you can call at midnight? You can say, girl, you're not going to believe what happened to me. Who's got a best friend? They get you. You can tell them the worst thing. They still love you. Got one of those? Give me an oh yeah. Oh, yeah. You need to be that for your kid. Meaning, I get you. I know why you're that way. And you're okay with me. That's the goal. I see you. It means they feel felt by you. When I'm sad, you want to understand their sadness. When they're angry, you understand their anger. When you're excited, they're excited. You're excited too. If your kid goes, hey, it was an awesome day, Mom, you don't say this. Calm down. Nobody wants to hear about your great day. And parents do this. Just today, in your school, I had your principal, one of them, tell me that another kid, one of her students said, she tells him every day, you're so smart. No, I'm not. I'm stupid. Well, why do you think you're stupid? My mom tells me every day I'm stupid. This is the problem. You're their tape recorder. So he's going to have a battle for the rest of his life, a fundamental belief that the person who brought me in the world thinks I'm stupid, no matter how many times you tell me, no matter how much I achieve. I know that's going to be no one in here. Do your best to do this for your kid, but make sure, do it for all the kids you get to see. Cheer for the kids you don't know on the football field, the basketball court, the volleyball team. Cheer for that kid who never gets off the bench and gets one play, but they feel loved and cared for. And then soothe. Some of us don't like to do this. If nobody soothes and comforts you, it's going to not feel comfortable. But kids need your love and comfort. Hey, I got you. You're okay. You got a boo-boo. Let me kiss it. Who here has ever had your child tell you they had a broken heart? I don't care if your kid is in the 3rd grade and comes home with tears. And I said, me and my girlfriend broke up. He said, your girlfriend? I didn't know you had a girlfriend. Yeah, we've been going out. How long? Well, about 15 minutes today. Well, what happened? Well, we were at the water fountain and we were going, and I thought we were going to be great. In a recess, she started playing with Johnny. I said, what's up with Johnny? And she goes, well, I'm your boyfriend. Well, I don't want to be your girlfriend anymore. And that was it. It's been 15 minutes, Mom. What did I do? You say, well, maybe it's not about you. And I can remember my first 15-minute relationship. It was tragic. but if it's going to be okay, I feel sad for you too. We'll work it out together. Next relationship, maybe it's going to be 20 minutes. It's going to be amazing. But you don't put them down. You comfort them no matter how silly it seems. Their feelings matter. If you're with me, go me, oh yeah. Okay. So that creates what's called security. By experiencing the first three, you get security. And here's the rub. When caregivers offer this care to their child, that the child can offer to themselves in adulthood, we often do the same behavior that we experienced. So, if you make a mistake, and you will, learn to just say you're sorry to your kid. Who's ever said you're sorry to your kid? And you notice it actually brought you closer. They said, oh my gosh, Mom, thanks, Dad, thanks. I mean, I would give $1 million for my mom to say, sorry. You know, I wish I could have done better. But no one did it for her, and she doesn't know how to do it. She doesn't have the muscle, doesn't have so, you know, what I actually do is I try to give her the love that she never did. So we want to repair, and that's simply saying you're sorry when you get it wrong. And when we do that, it makes all the difference. So now I'm going to give you the tools in your toolbox that I promised in these last few minutes. I've given you got a little handout. Thank God, Muleshoe was so awesome that printed this out for you. I'm going to give you little stories to go along with this, but this is my favorite thing. You create security by your actions. I want everybody to repeat after me. Love is an action. You can tell your kid you love them till they're blue in the face, but if you love them, but you don't show through action, it's just words. It's just words. So I will tell you this because my heart breaks thinking of when I was a high school teacher and a 16-year-old girl told me in class with the rest of her classmates, Mr. Bostick, you don't know if a boy loves you until he hits you. So that she was taught love was something different. And I had to tell her love is not being hit. Love is being nurtured. Love is being cared for. All the domestic violence we see in the world, it started somewhere way before it ever entered that union. We are software programs repeating patterns until we change them, until we are intervened upon. And that's the goal. So here's the way I teach parents to be an awesome parent on a daily basis. How to show up. The first one, you awaken your child with love and kindness each morning. Who here remembers when your child was a little baby, so cute, so precious, their skin was so, they were so, oh my God, you're so sweet, and then we wake up. Who remembers when they're so precious? But who are now, you see your kid, maybe they're middle school or high school, maybe even 3rd or 4th grade, and you see them, you can smell the breath outside the bathroom, outside the room, crusty boogers in their nose, their hair's everywhere, and you walk in the room and go, look at you. Get up, we gotta go, we got 5 more minutes, let's get going, I'm gonna tell you 30 minutes, let's get to go, we gotta go. And you get up and they go, just throw these clothes on, you get in the car, here's your food money, get out of there, have a great day. Who here has ever felt that way with your kid in the morning? Anybody here go, man, my mom loves me. No, what you want to do is create this connection. That means you intentionally set yourself up for the morning. So the first thing you do is you take some time for yourself to get yourself ready. Take care of you for maybe 30 minutes. Do some prayer, meditation, some reading. You got maybe some exercise. Something where you take care of you first. And then you go and you knock on the door. Hey, sweetheart, we give you about 30 minutes. Get your clothes laid out and you get dressed and get your teeth brushed. And there's breakfast over here. And if they still stall, okay, you got 10 minutes, you got 5 minutes. And if you sometimes have to leave them at home for half a day to realize that you are leaving on time, they learn the lesson. But at the end of the day, if you wake up with love and nurture and care, that kid's going to feel love for the beginning of the day, and they'll bring that love into the school building. I got to give my dad some credit. When he grew and as a person, he got sober and some things, he used to wake me up with a lot more love and care. And he'd say, it's uppy time. I was a 9th grader. Uppy time. Yeah. I mean, it felt good. It was way better than my mom. Get up, get out here, let's go. Right? So number one is have a routine for waking your child up in a way that makes them feel loved because you put some time into it. Number two, accept them for who they are. Who's noticed all kids are different? Some kids are athletic, some kids are organized, some kids are really studious, some kids are not. But if you put them down, why can't you be a little more like your sister? Why can't you be more like your brother? Why can't you be more like me? Then they're not feel accepted. They're going to feel that they're wrong being them. So accept your kid for all their differences and love them for where they're at. And that will give them such a different view of themselves. I am enough. So take a moment, look at your kid right now, say, you're great just the way you are. Ready? 1, 2, go. You're great just the way you are. Now, kids, do me a favor. Look at your mom and dad and say these words. You are too, Mom. You are too, Dad. You are too. Thanks. I appreciate it. Okay? So we need to hear that too. So if you want to help your parents out sometime, hey, Mom, Dad, you're doing a good job. Who here would love just every now and then if your kid would come home, turn on the lights and say, you know, Mom, Dad, I don't tell you enough. Appreciate this electricity. If you look at your phone, you know, thanks, Mom, Dad, I haven't told you all this free data. Appreciate it. Hey, you know, Mom, Dad, this food you're making today, I just wanted to tell you, very good. It rarely happens. You know why? Because it's not their job yet to tell you that. So make sure you're giving to them, modeling that gratitude for who they are, and watch, they will learn and they'll give it back. Number 3, encourage them. Praise every day will keep the Prozac away. I mean, at the end of the day, if you love on a kid and tell them they're amazing and wonderful and find the good things, it will make a difference. That we pop the pills to try to make them better. No, they need to be treated better. That's the way it works. Do me a favor, let's take 20 seconds. Compliment your children on anything, about anything. Doesn't even have to be a big thing right now. Who's ever just had your kid make their bed? Not perfectly, but they made the bed. They put the comforter over at least. Who's ever had them put out the dishes? Wash the dishes, but they still weren't perfect, but they were good enough. So find a way, give a compliment right now. Ready, 1, 2, 3, go. Compliment your kid, real quick. About anything. And if you have to drag it out of yourself, we got bigger problems. Tell your kids something that you really appreciate about them. Try every day to find one good thing. Okay. Give them a high five now. Thanks for being you. Give them a high five to your kid. Thanks for being you. Awesome. Okay. Number 3, spontaneous and fun. Who here wants to have more fun with your kid? If you're with me, say, oh yeah. I'm going to say something that's going to sound like a contradiction. You've got to plan your spontaneity. What? That's not spontaneous. Listen, if you're waiting for the spontaneous thing, it'll never happen. So you got to put it in your calendar, fun things you can do with your kid. It will be spontaneous to them. You pick them up on a Wednesday. You say, you know what, sweetheart? I was thinking me, you, scuba ice cream. How's that sound? Really, Mom? We never do that. That'd be so much fun. Now you have blocked off from 3:30 to 4 to do that. And they leave that, man, my mom just, out of the blue, ice cream was amazing. And you go back to your day timer and you check it off. Loved on my kid, that little spontaneous ice cream. That was great. Hey, Saturday, I was wondering if you wanted to go do something, you know, go-kart riding. Really, us, Saturday? And you say, oh, my kids in middle school, high school, they don't want to do that stuff anymore. High school, middle school kids in the room. Who would love if just once in a while your parents wanted to have some fun with you by show of hands? By show of hands, just once in a while. Just, you know, you're not lying, just fun, just every now and then, okay? All right, so we got 2 that don't, but most that do, just every now and then. Mom's showing me some fun, show me attention. Kids spell love. If you want to memorize anything I say today, there's a parenting book, one of my favorite lines from it, the only line I've memorized from it. Kids spell love, T-I-M-E. Who you spend time with shows exactly what's important for you. And even if you don't think that middle school or high schooler doesn't want to spend time with you, they do. They do. Especially if you make it about them, something y'all share together. So finally, O, be optimistic. Do you know how many kids will say, Mom, I want to be an astronaut? That'll never happen. I want to be an NFL football player. You're too short, you're too slow, it's never going to happen. Are you dreaming? That does not help your kid believe themselves. They will figure out on their own whether they're going to become an NFL athlete. But it turns out some people do make it to the NFL. Some kids become astronauts. It could be yours. The first astronaut from Muleshoe. He'll be up there, you know, kicking and screaming. At the end of the day, your kid needs to hear one thing from you. You can, how can I support you? You want to, we'll find a way. And you give them the tools and resources, and then let them either achieve or fail. And failure for a kid is okay. We learn from failure. Next one, model success. That means if you want your kid to be successful and healthy, you've got to model that. It's hard to tell your kid, you shouldn't be smoking. These things will kill you. That doesn't inspire a kid. They need to see you taking good care of you, encouraging yourself, being nice to yourself, doing the things. Hey, mom goes to yoga class. I see dad lift weights. I want to do the same thing. We eat vegetables, mom and dad. Like, that's how we learn. They see you resilient, they'll be resilient. You know, one of the coolest things that happened today? I asked the children, who are your heroes? And 3 or 4 kids said moms and dads. And one kid, he said, my dad. Because he's going back to school to live his dreams. He's inspired by his own dad saying, I'm going to go to college. That's the coolest thing. You model it and they follow our lead. And then finally, empathize. Just like I said earlier, when your kid has feelings, listen to them, don't make them wrong, and don't try to fix them. Love on them, let them be okay being sad and mad and angry, and you sit there with them, and they can feel their feelings, and they get past them. So, who thinks these little steps are doable? Get your hand out, brainstorm with your spouse or by yourself tonight, say, what can I do? How can I do one or 2 of these things each day to start building that secure attachment? So, here's my last one for you, moms and dads. Take care of you so you can take care of your child. First, create a morning routine and night routine for yourself, just like you need for a kid. Who here, when you're hungry, angry, lonely, and tired, it's hard to be a good parent? Who's ever been hangry? Come home, pick up your kid. Hey, mom, how are you? What's wrong? I'm just hungry. Okay, whatever, right? And you mess up, right? So have a routine for taking care of you. A morning routine where you get yourself fueled up for the day. A night routine to get yourself to go to bed that night, just like you do your kids. And then finally, a wellness plan. Make sure you're eating healthy food, getting plenty of sleep, take care of your body. You'll have more love and care to give your kid because you'll have love and care to give to yourself. So in conclusion, follow this program, and if you want to learn more, if you click this QR code with your phone, if you choose to, then you're going to get a link to all these great resources if you want to keep reading about how to be a great parent. Now, I don't see a bunch of phones going up to click the QR code, so I will make sure that I do send an email with this. But here's the thing. If you think that you've got it figured out, you don't. Parents need to keep reading and learning about how this brain works and how these relationships work so that you can be a good parent. One of the best books that you'll see up here, No Drama Discipline, also written by the Power of Showing Up guy. The Brainstorm, that's a book for teenagers, also written by Dan Siegel, and their parents, how their brain works. The Power of Attachment, it's for your relationship with your spouse, how to have that security there. So if you click this QR code, you'll get a link to all these books that you can buy directly from Amazon. I don't get any kick off of it, you just get to keep learning. So that's the power of showing up. So in conclusion, thank you for showing up for your kid. Thank you for showing up. Let me be me. I hope you will keep being you, because your kid is so lucky that they got you as their mom and dad. Have a great, great night. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Mr. Hill's got a closing word, and then we'll be able to head out. So thanks again for giving me your time, which y'all were so great. If anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to just want to come and chat real quick.
Hey, thank you, Aric, and thank each one of you guys for being here. Like Aric said, he'll be here for a while. If you have questions or just want to talk to him about, tell him you appreciate something, he's going to be here for a while. Great guy. Thanks again. Good night.